would like to first say thank you for having us. Most importantly, for allowing a non-adopted person, and specifically this Zoom non-adopted people, to be in your space. I recognize that it's difficult to let outsiders, if you will, into your brave spaces. But I do want to assure you that I've received a very thorough education from Cindy over the last 9+ years. So thank you for allowing me to come in and chat with you all. So to just talk briefly about Retreat and how Retreat came to be, Cindy and I met through the interwebs, the world of Facebook. And there was a local meetup. And I say local, it wasn't like that local. It was about an hour and 15 minutes away, really from both of us, but it was kind of dead center where she and I both live. And so we were like, listen, we've been chatting on the interwebs for this amount of time and kind of getting to know each other. What do you think if we head to this meetup? And so never meeting each other in person, Cindy and I decided to share a hotel room and go to this meetup, which really was just a couple of hours. And it was a meetup of adopted folks, donor conceived folks, late discovery adopted folks, and NPEs. After that, we went out to dinner, and then we made our way back to our hotel room. And I, being an NPE, had never been in a space with other people who didn't want to sensationalize my story or, minimize, my story. And so I just remember looking at Cindy and saying, gosh, that was like really amazing, but I just felt like it wasn't enough time. What if we plan a retreat? And immediately, like without missing a beat, Cindy was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so it was 6 months later, almost to the day, that we held our first retreat. And we just continue to grow. Cindy, what do you want to share initially before we?
Well, I would love if we, first of all, share how we started out as, the one night type of thing into where we
Mm,
are now, and also our purposeful intersections, and
sure.
how people have questioned um, why we do that specifically.
Mm.
Erin's our salesperson, so she usually does all the speaking, and I interject stuff, along the way. She's much better at that than I am.
Yeah. So our very first retreat, we arrived on Friday evening. We were in session, as we call it, which is where we get the bulk of the education or the topics or whatever. So we were in session Saturday, and then we got up Sunday morning and went home. And we did that for 2 retreats. And then just kind of casually, someone mentioned, oh my gosh, it wasn't enough time. So we were like, oh, all right, it wasn't enough time. So let's arrive on Thursday night. We'll be in session all day Friday, all day Saturday. So Friday is what we call our small group session. And we break folks into 3 separate groups. And Cindy said specifically talk about the intersections. So we are very intentional in how we create our groups. We try to have adopted folks, donor conceived folks, late discovery adopted folks, and NPEs intermixed within the group. Because there are alliances and intersections in all of these groups. Are there differences? Absolutely, without a doubt. But we try to focus on the commonalities that we share, the identity disruption, identity confusion, the misattributed parentage. Um, Again, there are vast differences. An NPE, unless the NPE is on the maternal side and was immediate, is never going to experience or understand the primal wound. And we respect that and kind of move through that in ways to, I don't want to say that we ask the adopted folks to educate, we kind of do that. Cindy and I do that at the very beginning. So to us, it's very important that we celebrate the alliances and intersections. So getting back to Friday is small group, where we have 3 facilitators who do the same session 3 times, and we rotate through each of those groups. Saturday is our whole group day, where we again have 3 sessions, but we're all together. And so there are 3 different facilitators on Saturday. Thursday, we have an opening session where we just kind of talk about the expectations and the norms of the weekend. And then Colette, I will share that in 1 second. We have a session where we each talk a little bit, very briefly, about our journeys and how we have come to retreat, and what our lived experience is. So an NPE is it's a misattributed parentage. We have coined the phrase NPE like we took a DNA test and we got not parent that we expected, not parent expected, NPE, a non-paternal event. Um, so I forget where I was going because I answered that question. Then we share a little bit about our journey. And then Sunday, we close with an appreciation circle. And there's time mixed in through retreat for folks to relax and decompress and have that downtime to get to know each other. Um, this past retreat, we actually added an optional, we call it optional offering. And Mandy, who is on this Zoom, taught folks how to make her snowflake art. Mandy also makes cards, handmade cards for us. Everybody gets a handmade welcome note when they attend retreat. And so one of the optional offerings was kind of healing through art and creativity. And so Mandy was able to share her love for paper art with our attendees. Um, excuse me. If you look on our website, on our homepage, you will see this amazing Venn diagram that Cassandra Adams, who is a donor conceived person, first created. And we modified it slightly to fit our retreats. We branded it with the Hiraeth brand. Cindy does an amazing job doing all of those things. And so it's in our colors and things of that nature. Um, for our retreats, they are small by design. Again, we're very intentional with those things. It's for us, it's not important that there are 200 folks that are attending a conference, because we cap at 30, because we believe that togetherness heals, and that in making these connections and kind of coming together, uh, I say there's also healing in the mundane, right? So you're just sitting down having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with folks who are walking the same journey as you are. That's healing. There's healing in, standing over the
Cooking.
sink and
Yeah.
sorry,
Making our salads, cooking together.
right, right, loading the dishwasher, kind of whatever that looks like. And so we cap our retreats at 30. No more than 30 are and permitted. Like that's not the right word either, right? But like we close our registration at 30, because we think anything bigger than that, and it's really hard to get to know the people that you are with. Additionally, depending on the size of the house, like our New Jersey house, up to 22 people can sleep in that house. And so, we always prefer that folks stay in the house, but some people prefer not to do that. And so they get accommodations locally or closer. But again, like, even those nighttime chit chats are there, there's healing in that. So,
People in the hot tub, or going for a
mhm.
walk after dinner. Erin, let's discuss a little bit about how now we do have 13 sessions and how we purposely make those sessions different because everybody has a different um, type of
Sure.
thing they
Hmm.
like. And I also want to point out that Zara is here and has facilitated
Yes.
for us, and
Hmm.
she brought music to us, which was phenomenal.
Yes. That was a fun. We actually like wrote a song that was super
Yeah.
fun. Excuse me. Um, so being from the States, I say that there's a little bit of California in me, and by that I mean um, that I like to heal in different ways. For me, I like to experience kind of that brain based knowledge of this is what trauma looks like. This is the effect of trauma on the brain. This is the effect of trauma on the body. This is where it sits. This is where it lives. So I like to get like real sciency and geeky, but then there's also this California side of me that I say is like earthy crunchy. And I know that it's important to, touch grass, put my feet in the grass and like ground myself into the earth. And so, we, our sessions are, they kind of run the gamut and they're all over the place. We we may be touching grass for one, right? Like we may be outside doing some mindful movement. We actually, at this past retreat, we had a facilitator who was teaching us EMDR through art. So we created this like very simple collage with like words, and then we painted without just following our eyes. But again, we were outside. We were able to not touch grass because it was a rocky backyard, but we were able to touch earth. Um, but then at the same time, we have sessions where, as I said, we're talking about brain based traumas and the body keeps the score, where it lives in our body and why our bodies remember, why certain dates all of a sudden we're not feeling right. Why are we not feeling right? Because the things that happen to us live in our cells. So we um, think it's really important that we have as many different healing and learning modalities as possible, so that when we are experiencing crisis, we can just kind of reach into what I call our Mary Poppins bag, right? Like some people want a toolkit. They want a toolkit of things that they can use when crisis sets in. I'm in education for 27 years. And for me, a toolkit isn't enough. I want that never ending Mary Poppins bag, because when crisis hits, our reptilian brain takes over and we can't think. So um, if we could just kind of reach in and grab something, then we are able to kind of work through. From the very first retreat, I can remember the facilitator saying BMW, 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 BMW. When all else fails and when you can't think, BMW, breathe, move, water, right? Take some deep breaths. Get up and move your body and get water, ice cold water, as cold as you can get it. Um, and sometimes that's enough to kind of jolt your nervous system kind of back into reality. And again, it's a simple one where you don't have to think. So um, we're creating connections in the moment, but we're also creating long-term healing, so that there's something there for you in a moment.
Yeah. So I love the way we're doing this, Erin, because I'm like prompting you with this stuff and then you're
I love
taking.
it.
So, Erin, let's talk about what happens after retreat. First with the
Yeah.
the optional stuff we bring in because of
Yeah.
those that we found crying in the airport. And after, meaning like our chat,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
the ongoing 24/7 support.
Sure. So getting back to how our very first retreat was arrive Friday, session Saturday, leave Sunday, people said it wasn't long enough. And so we added the Thursday night. And then Listen, we're kind of selfish people, right? We always want more. And so, very innocently, somebody kind of mentioned, like, oh my gosh, I wish we just had one more day because I was sitting alone in the airport getting ready to fly home and I'm all by myself and I'm crying. And we were like, oh, hmm, what if we could decompress in community? What if we could have that time to kind of ground together with nothing planned, where we could just sit around and chit chat? And so we added the Sunday afternoon into Monday, which we call relax, refresh, renew. And that little less than 24 hours is a time where we bring in a massage therapist, we bring in a Reiki practitioner, we bring in a medium, we've done a sound bath before. And those are all optional add on sessions
Don't forget
where
the charcuterie boards
oh,
that we
yes. Yes. In the fall, we added charcuterie making, where one of our board members, that's her side gig. And so she introduced us to all of that. And then that was their dinner on Sunday evening. So that was very nice. And that just offers a time to be amongst, folks who get it. It gives you an opportunity to just kind of lay around and not have any responsibility and cry in community if that's what you feel like you need to do. And then as we send you off Monday morning to home, we have a group chat on Facebook that we you know are constantly chit chatting on. There were messages in there today right before hopping on. There could be messages happening right now, and I'm not aware of it. And the nice thing about that is because folks from all over have attended retreat, that chat can be active almost 24/7. So somebody could say, and actually somebody did last night say, like, oh my gosh, I'm struggling, this is happening. This is happening in this area, like I'm struggling with a family member, but I'm also struggling with this. And immediately somebody came in and was like, I'm really sorry that you're experiencing that. Somebody else came in and, oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're saying. But then this morning, as people who were already asleep were waking up, they were also offering support. We also, much like you guys, we host Zoom as well. We do peer-to-peer support Zooms twice a week. We do them on Wednesday evenings and Saturday afternoons. We've been doing that since the world shut down. That's actually how I met Vic as well, was through our Zoom. And you know, we send notes and cards. Someone just lost their dad, so we're following up on that and sending them a card. So we don't just kind of send you off into the wild when you leave us. There's always going to be someone there that can chat, even if it's not myself or Cindy.
Mhm. Um,
Next question, Cindy.
yeah, so let's talk about the newest thing that we're trying to implement this summer, which actually may be a little more interesting to the UK folks with this
Sure.
small with just the weekend sort of thing
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
we are hoping to try out this summer.
Yes. So this summer, we're hoping for the first time right now, registration is low, but we are hoping to do what we're calling a wellness weekend, which it, it's not a retreat, but it's not a retreat. So it is less time. So Saturday, Sunday would be the bulk, or Friday, Saturday, excuse me, would be the bulk of it. And we do have two facilitators. We're going to be working primarily with sand tray. And if none of you have ever done sand tray, I highly recommend that you find a clinician that works in sand tray. Sand tray is actually, I don't want to say very popular, but it's used a lot with children who are not able to sit and do talk therapy. But the facilitator that we have doing it is an adopted person. And it is absolutely amazing to see what she pulls out of people um, when doing sand tray as an adult. It's
Mhm.
I myself personally have had two very transformative moments using sand tray. At any rate, I digress. Um, Lots of really fun optional things you can do if you decide you want to come in early and stay a day late. We're going to be in Austin, Texas. And so maybe a little country line dancing, maybe some barbecue. Apparently, when you're in Austin, Texas, you have to see the bats. So we're going to go see the bats. So instead of kind of being at retreat for 5 days, we're going to be concentrating on those 2 days, and then you're welcome to join any and all of the before and afters.
Yeah,
Staying at a
so
hotel, not staying in a house.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actual facilitators were at a facility. It's actually a workshop. So this one literally is half the price, half the sessions. So it's
Hmm.
like just literally cut it in half. And that came from
Yes.
people saying, I wish I could come just for the weekend. Oh, that's another thing we can explain why we don't do like just come for the day passes, and also how
Hmm.
we offer these the Saturday evening the
Yes.
shenanigans.
Yes, it's 3:24, and I want to be cognizant of time. So I'll answer Cindy's question there, and then I will move to the chat and start answering questions that are there, and then we'll take questions from all of you. Um, so we do not allow a day pass. And the reason we don't allow a day pass, although that's not to say that it hasn't happened in the past, but we don't allow it because we're asking you to be brave and come to this weekend. And people are nervous coming. Like that's natural. That's a natural reaction. And so you arrive on Thursday, and by Friday afternoon you're finally like, oh, I'm comfortable, I can breathe. To have someone new kind of come in and then disrupt that flow can be really jarring. And so we ask that you commit to the weekend, invest in yourself for the weekend, um, and be among your crib mates for the entire weekend. Um, Recognizing that for some people that's really hard, so the only way we allow anybody else to attend outside of that is on Saturday evenings we have what we call Saturday shenanigans, which is we play a game, which is I don't know if folks in the UK do left, right, center, but we call it 20 questions meets left, right, center meets a little bit of gambling because we throw some dollars in the pot, and we play for that. And so we do invite folks to attend if they can't commit to the whole weekend.